Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the show. I can't wait to get started today with our Training Thursday episode. For much of the world, we are moving into that summer season. It's hot out, people are sweating more, and with that sweat, with that exercise, we need to make sure that we are hydrating our bodies. Extremely important. If not, sometimes we're left with symptoms of dizziness or brain fog or fatigue or many other issues that go along with being dehydrated. But one of the biggest things is that in general, in order to be a healthy human being, we really should be getting about half our body weight in ounces of water per day. Now, that will go up if you do sweat more, and it may go down if you have lower blood pressure, lower amounts of specific gravity, or lower levels of electrolytes in the body. And again, you'd have to work with your qualified practitioner to know those specific numbers. But for most people, as a general rule, if you weigh about 160 pounds, you need about 80 ounces of water. And again, you can just do the conversion there for the kilos. And so 80 ounces of water is going to be about 10 cups of water per day, 10 glasses of water per day. So for most people, they don't love the idea of having to drink 10 glasses of water per day, even though they know that's what's best for their hair, for their skin, for their muscles, for their energy, to be flushing toxins through the body. Because remember, you need water to hydrate the blood. And again, the blood plasma being about 90% water, your muscle tissues being about 72% water, overall hydration about 2/3 of the body or so water. So extremely important, but again, not everybody wants to drink the equivalent to 5 bottles of water per day, 5 16-ounce bottles of water per day. So what I want you to think about is there are other ways to hydrate your body besides just water. Now, do I believe that you need straight water during the day? Yes, I do believe that all humans should be getting good, clean, ideally spring water throughout the day. If not, filtered water will do as well. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, there are different ways that we can hack that, and I put this in air quotes because what I mean is that we can actually get pure water inside of some foods. And I want to give you 15 of those today. The reason why I'm choosing 15 are there are 15 to my knowledge, just from my research, that are all above 90% water. That means when you eat these particular foods, more than 90% of the food that you're eating is water. And that's pretty remarkable because you're getting hydrated while you're eating these particular fruits and vegetables. They are plant-based resources. But the other interesting thing is this, is that you are getting what nature intended, which is the minerals along with that, with the phytonutrients along with the water. So really the best of all worlds. We're not talking about overdoing this, but we are saying, well, certainly we should be getting 5 to 9 servings, and I would say 7 to 9 servings a day of fruits and vegetables. So when we look at this, we can be getting a considerable amount of water if we're always and should be focused on getting the fruit and the veggies in there. So again, about 10 glasses of water per day for the average 160-pound person. Maybe if you weigh a little bit less, then you're looking at more like 8 glasses if you weigh 120 pounds. And then for 200 pounds, that would be about 9 glasses or so, somewhere right around there. Sorry, not 9 glasses. You'd be looking at 12 to 13. Okay. So anywhere between 8 and 12 glasses per day for most people, 10 being right around the 160 pound mark. That would be right? Somewhere around 70 kilos for all of our friends overseas. So when we look at that, 72 kilos right around there. So when we look at that, we need to make sure that we're deliberately getting that during the day. Because most people, you wake up, you have a cup of coffee, maybe some black tea, something like that with a little bit of caffeine, that can act as more of a diuretic. So it's not necessarily hydrating our body. It may not be dehydrating us if that's what we're used to drinking, but it's certainly not adding to our hydration levels. So what I want to do is I want to give you first the foods, and then I want to give you the plan to make this a whole lot easier. So the foods will just take a couple minutes to go through, and then we'll go through the plan of how this can actually benefit your body and how easy it is to really sneak that in there. Okay, so let's get right to my food list. I will pull it up here. I usually don't even have a list, but we have the list today. So we're going 1 through 15, and I actually think that you'll be pretty surprised at some of these fruits and vegetables that are this high in water. I mean, pretty remarkable. And one way I like to think of it is this. If you left that fruit or vegetable outside for a period of time, think about how much it would shrivel up. And the more that shrivels up, well, that's all water that was essentially dehydrated out of that plant-based food. Okay, so number 1 on the list, believe it or not, coming in at 96% water. 96% water is lettuce. Most of the lettuces out there are well above 92, 95% water, and just straight like a Bib lettuce, a romaine, one of those, 96%. I mean, absolutely remarkable. And that's why you do see when the lettuce gets older, it starts to shrivel up to almost nothing. So a lot of hydration coming in from lettuce. Now, I will tell you, it's a little bit deceiving because you would need to eat a remarkable amount of lettuce to get a whole lot of water out of it. So having said that, because think about how thin it is, having said that, some of these are going to make a little bit more sense than others, but if I'm being fair as to what foods actually contain the most hydrating source, it's going to be lettuce for sure. Okay, now let's get to some of the ones that you're going to be a little bit more familiar with. And you'll be more familiar with number 3 on this list, but let's start out with number 2, cucumbers. So cucumbers are hands down, if you look at it, the most hydrating out of the fruits and vegetables, like just for the most natural, the easiest to get. And it's also why when a lot of people make a green juice, they're using cucumbers as the base. And I think it's a smart idea. And that's because cucumbers are really, well, they are absolutely hydrating, of course. But the other thing about cucumbers is they're going to contain a lot more of those electrolytes with it. And it pairs nicely. It actually pairs nicely with number 3 on the list, and that's celery. So a lot of people don't necessarily mix their celery with anything because they're following a specific plan. I get it. I would invite you to tune into my show on celery juice. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all. I don't have anything issues with it in the short term unless you have specific health concerns. And again, you can check out that show I did on celery juicing. But mixing celery and cucumbers, and again, I know that some people are very strict about their celery juice, which again is okay. But a lot of the sodium can balance a lot of the potassium in the cucumbers as well. And they can make a nice part of a green juice. It doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all, but even eating them on their own. So my oldest daughter, her favorite, I guess cucumbers would be considered more of a fruit in this particular scenario, would be cucumbers. And so that's a great thing for her, especially during the summer. We can give her some cucumbers. She can even dip it in some hummus if she wants, and very hydrating for her. Again, this list is also about other people as well. If you have kids, they don't like to drink a lot of water, this is an easy way to get those growing kids and active kids some good hydration in the process. I'll talk about the little bit of fruit-based sugar that's contained in these towards the end of the show as well. Okay, so we've gone through the first 3, lettuce, cucumbers, and celery. Blueberries is up next. Now, blueberries is about 95% water. So that's a remarkable amount of water as well. It's used in my smoothie almost every single day as well. But here's the thing. The plumper the blueberry, the more the water. Those wild blueberries, again, I don't have the research on this, but I'm going to go with they're a little less than 95% water. And the reason is that we're looking at mainly skin. That's why wild blueberries are healthier for you. It's predominantly, they're small and it's predominantly more skin. They're outside in the sun. They're more exposed to those UV rays and they have to actually create then within themselves more antioxidants. What is an antioxidant? Something that helps to prevent the oxidation of that thing. In this case, the blueberries, right? Some of them actually breaking down from the sun. So that's why they're more powerful. But blueberries Super high. Now, if we were to look at raspberries, it's about 87%. That didn't make the list because it's not above 90%. Raspberries, well, they're individual when you look at it, and so there's more skin. So I would say wild blueberries, again, I don't have exact stats in this, probably about that 87 and 90%, but blueberries in general, the ones that you typically get at the store, about 95%. Next on the list is pineapple. We're talking about the inside of the pineapple, of course, the flesh of the fruit, as they say. And pineapple at 95%. I'm a big fan of pineapple. I really am. Some people don't do great with it. They get little canker sores inside of their mouth. It's actually not a canker sore. It's more of a benign cyst that is created from the acidity in the fruit. Sometimes people will get it from vinegar. Sometimes they'll get it from lemons. So it happens with citrus-based fruits. It can happen with pineapple from that acidity. But remember, that acidity actually helps with digestion. And now pineapples themselves they don't create in more of an acid-based environment in the body. They actually have a higher pH. However, just like lemons, they are acidic in the mouth. Okay, so, well, what does that mean? It actually means that it's actually good for digestion. When it's one of the few things that we gave when I was in Ayurvedic clinics after a meal, is that people can actually eat some pineapple with the core as a piece of it. And that's because there's digestive enzymes in that. So there's two fruit. I've talked about this before. There's two fruit that we allowed in India after meals, and that is pineapple, and the other one is papaya. Now, and papaya with the seeds, by the way. You would take the flesh of the fruit with the seeds. So papaya contains papain, and pineapple contains bromelain. We actually put those two ingredients from nature inside of our daily digestive enzyme. And that's something I use every single day. That's part of our daily foundational protocol level 3. Of course, you can find all of our recommendations at equilibriumnutrition.com. But pineapples, again, really hydrating based fruit. I just want to state though, even though we did do that in India, we did it because a lot of people expected dessert. They were kind of used to dessert. They were there, of course, for their wellness. They were there for weight loss. But so it was more appeasing. I would actually never recommend having fruit after a meal. To this day, even if it was papaya or pineapple, I don't recommend it. The bromelain and papain, of course, inside of an enzyme, great. But I just don't recommend putting fruit and any type of sugar, essentially, fructose, after a protein. It just doesn't digest well. So I can't recommend that. I'll talk about smoothies at the end. It's just a different animal and you're using different ingredients. So that's that. So again, I just want to put that caveat in there. But pineapple, super hydrating. It tastes great in smoothies. It tastes great in water. If you want to put a wedge of pineapple in there, fantastic. Number 6 is, this might be one you don't guess. This one and number 8, it might be difficult to guess. And I'll go with number 11 as well. But number 6 is radishes at 95%. I couldn't believe that. I don't have radishes all the time. Honestly, they're just kind of not top of mind. I don't mind slicing up radishes, having them with any meal. I actually think that they're pretty tasty, a little bitter tasting, but very good and good for you. 95% water though. Super hydrating right there. Number 7, I bet you would have guessed this. That's tomatoes at 94%. So we're climbing out of the 95s now. We're down to 94%. Tomatoes, obviously very hydrating. You look at that, you cut it open, you can see how juicy it is. Tomato, again, considered a fruit here, but most people consider it a vegetable. 94%. And again, I'm a huge advocate of tomatoes. A bigger advocate though of heirloom tomatoes. Sometimes on Instagram, you'll see me post a photo of an heirloom tomato. It's dark purple or it's yellow with orange hues and they're all bent and misshapen. Those are the tomatoes that you're looking for. Those are the high antioxidant, lower fructose-based ones. The plump red ones, they're beautiful, great, as long as it's organic, not a problem. But they're more hybridized. They're not the more natural heirloom-based ones. If you can find heirloom tomatoes, and I know that you can and will be able to at a local farmer's market, definitely recommend giving them a shot. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil on them, put a little bit of sea salt, delicious, absolutely fantastic. Okay, and even for people like me who don't do great with nightshades, every once in a while I have those heirloom tomatoes. I'm growing them right now in my garden outside in Maine, and absolutely delicious, really great for you. They have lycopene, which is great for men, especially helps to support the prostate, great for women as well. Okay. So let's look at number 8. Number 8 comes in with zucchini. I don't know, again, if a lot of people would have guessed that. Zucchini, 94%. So zucchini, again, however you want to look at it in terms of its classification, but quite hydrating and could be a really nice food in addition to your plate as well. Number 9 is bell peppers at 92%. So we're dropping down the 92s for the next 4. 92% bell peppers. I'm not a huge advocate of green peppers. I don't think that they are as healthy for the human body. I don't think they go through basically the same ripening base stages, but a yellow or red bell pepper could be quite nice. Again, something nice that we do for our girls, just cut it up. They can dip it in hummus once again, or some type of bean dip, and a good, nice little bright, colorful addition that they will eat. Because again, most kids will eat some type of veggies, but you have to know and kind of like play let's make a deal, right? So it's kind of on any given night, the taste of our girls may change. It's the wildest thing. It's like, okay, well, we thought that you liked asparagus. No, not tonight? Okay. Well, what do we have? Okay, let's look for some bell peppers. Because you're basically picking and choosing your battles, right? That's how it works in relationships. You don't want to fight over every single one. So it's kind of like, all right, well, what should we go here? Okay, well, we have some sliced bell peppers. Do you want bell peppers tonight if you're not going to eat the asparagus? Yes, I'll have some bell peppers. Okay, great. Let's pull out those bell peppers and enjoy. All right, next up, and believe it or not, this would be probably number 1. If I were to ask you, what's the most hydrating fruit out there? I bet 8 out of 10 people would say watermelon. I bet 8 out of 10 hands down would say watermelon, but believe it or not, it is 92%. Now, part of that, of course, is the rind that's not going to be as loaded with water, but the flesh, that pink part, is going to be, of course, loaded with water. But 92%, watermelon is on the list, a little higher fructose, but of course, the glycemic load is lower, so you'd have to eat a whole lot of watermelon for that to actually spike that blood sugar. Something to keep in mind, because again, watermelon could be nice and a little bit of water as well during the summer. All right. Number 11, this one, I doubt anybody would have guessed it. Really, I didn't know it was on the list. Cauliflower. Cauliflower is 92% water. Now, my favorite broccoli is down around 87%. And that's because if you look at it, the sprouts are different, right? It's individual little sprouts on broccoli. Now, cauliflower, though, is basically ahead of cabbage. And cabbage is number 12. And that's 92% as well. Cauliflower, cabbage, 92%. Great foods to add to your diet. If you're not already adding in cauliflower or broccoli or cabbage, try to sneak them in. Why? Great for phase 2 detoxification of the liver. So yes, we recommend, of course, every 12 weeks do a functional medicine detox, but it's what are you doing on a daily basis? What are you getting from your food on a daily basis? Because remember, food always comes first. Oh, well, okay, I'm getting my broccoli, my cauliflower, cabbage, I'm getting sulforaphane from these great foods that's helping with detox. So love it. Glad it's on the list. Happy that it's there. All right, next up is strawberries. Strawberries at 91%. Just remember this summer that you're getting organic strawberries because it's typically around number 1 on the worst foods to eat if you are buying conventional based. And that is because they are loaded with pesticides and you can't wash those pesticides off. Buy your strawberries organic. If you put them in your smoothie, great. Buy them organic. You can keep them frozen if you'd like. All right. Number 14 is grapefruit. Grapefruit made the list. Again, another one of my favorite fruits for people. Even people looking to lose weight can do really well with a grapefruit at breakfast. You can make it in your smoothie if you want. Typically, people don't love that in smoothies. Citrus in a smoothie, to me, is not ideal. But grapefruit, great thing to have. Super hydrating, comes in at 91%, just like strawberries. And number 15, it snuck onto the list. I could have put peaches, it was right around there, but I put cantaloupe. Cantaloupe can be a great fruit that kids love, and it's 90% water. Kids and adults, big kids as well. 90%, just keep in mind, most of the melons and cantaloupe don't mix well with other foods, typically eaten on their own, and they can be a great hydrating snack after a workout, and they could be mid-morning as well for kids. It could be a nice little snack there too to hold them over until lunch or dinner. So those are our top 15 hydrating fruit. I will list them today. I don't always do that, but I'd like to do that for you today at episode 1609. So if you head over to stephencabral.com/1609. I will list all 15 there and their hydration levels. What I'd like to do now, though, is just say, how can we sneak these in during the day? Well, super easy. For our lettuce and our cucumbers and our radishes and our bell peppers, all we need to do is slice those up. Lettuce can be the base, and slice up the cucumbers, even some celery, some bell peppers, and, put them right on top of that salad. Easy, super simple to do. You can have that especially during the warm months. A nice salad at lunch could be great. Digestion hopefully will be strongest. So easy to do, right? Easy to do. And then what we can also do, take our blueberries, take some pineapple if we want. We can do blueberries and strawberries if we wanted to. And we can put them right in our smoothie in the morning. So now, and this is what I do, so I want to share this with you. So when I wake up in the morning, most people know I have a nice tall glass of water. I do some sea salt in there. I choose Himalayan sea salt. Again, you can choose other forms. And I do a little bit of lime. And that's my essentially what I call natural Gatorade to start the day. I've got potassium from lime. I've got the sodium from the sea salt. And I have my water. So I'm drinking that to hydrate my body. I do that after my morning routine, which I just talked about. Let's see. On episode 1607, hopefully you heard about my morning Ayurvedic rituals, and hopefully you can incorporate some of those into your life. I'm telling you, they've been game changers since I started adding them in about a decade ago. Okay, so that's how I'm starting the day, and then I'm also doing then, not too much longer, probably like a half hour to an hour later, because that water is not going to break your fast. But then I do my smoothie about an hour or so, it's probably an hour and a half after waking, and that is when I'm adding in those blueberries and strawberries that I choose. So I do some nice berries in the morning. Sometimes I will make a different one. I will use mango, I'll use pineapple, and I will use some banana in there. And I do that with a little coconut cream. That's a tropical smoothie. Again, you can download all of these smoothies on any podcast page. So you can just go to episode 1609, keep scrolling. You'll see a little graphic that says, hey, here's our smoothie recipes. They're for wellness. They're for weight loss. You can check those out. You can see basically all the different smoothies that I love to do and I've shared in my practice for many, many years. Okay, so easy ways to do this, right? After a workout, let's say that you want to hydrate your body and you're good with some carbs. Well, that's when you could have some cantaloupe if you wanted to. You could have some, what would be another good one after a workout? Some watermelon. It's an easy one. Right after your workout, simple to do. And if you enjoy those foods, well, that's a great time to do it. If you're looking to lose weight, wait an hour after your workout. If you're not looking to lose weight, you're looking to put on muscle, have it right after your workout or even during your workout for some peri-workout nutrition. So these are simple things that we can do. I make my smoothie with 2 cups of fruit. I'm getting basically another 2 cups of water. I put in another 16 to 20 ounces of water, about, let's say, 10 ounces or so of water. I put in about 6 ounces or so of some macadamia nut milk or another type of nut milk. I blend it all up. It makes a liter smoothie. So I'm drinking 32 ounces of water, or essentially water, with that smoothie. And I have another 8-10 ounces or so in the morning of water. So now we're looking at 40 ounces of water. How many cups is that? 40 ounces, or about 40 divided by 8, that's going to be 5 cups. So I have half of my water by about 10 a.m. So it's pretty remarkable, right? I've got half of my water for the day out of the way by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. Why is that important? Because we go about 10 hours overnight without drinking any fluid, sometimes even 12. So when you look at that, the most important time of the day is to hydrate first thing in the morning. And then, of course, you can have those other 5 glasses over the course of the day. That might come with a little bit of fruit, maybe. You do a mid-afternoon snack, or from there, it's going to come from some of those cucumbers, different things you put on in your meal, as well as another, let's say, 3 to 5 glasses of just fresh spring water or filtered water. Hopefully this was helpful today. It's one of the best things that you can do for your body is to get hydrated. It's a simple thing to do, but often overlooked. So if this show was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.